Hi guys, hope everyone's doing well. I wanted to just make a quick video about the current energies that we're all going through right now. In my last video, I'd actually hinted about a topic about balancing our ego mind with our light side, and I'd said that I'm going to come back and talk about it because it was shown to me in DreamTime. So I'm outside right now in a beautiful park, so there's going to be a lot of noises. I'll try to be as loud as I can. So there's an airplane going up there, and I can hear kids playing. There'll be some cars passing by as well. So a month back, maybe 2 months back, I don't know exactly when, I'd actually had a dream about our ego mind and our light side and what it really looks like when the ego side of our body, mind, and soul is balanced with our light side. And so I'll share the dream. And as I'm sharing the dream, I also want to share examples of, what my guides. I basically work with the Divine Mother, especially, starting last year, I've had beautiful, deep connections with her, coming into alignment with my purpose, that works through her energies. So all of these messages are actually flowing through this as she was teaching me about how to balance the ego side and the light side and what it really looks like visually, because I am a visual learner. So here we go. Again, this is not a dream or a topic that I'd asked to be shown in DreamTime. So it just flowed through organically by my guides. So in the dream, they showed me in two parts. There was a left side to me, which was the ego side, and a right side to me, which was my light side. And they were both in as if they were two separate bodies, and they were just symbolically representing the right side and the left side, which, as we know, the right side of our body is our light side, our connection to the divine, spirituality, and those kind of topics, things that we are interested in terms of being away from the physical mainstream logic of the ego mind and the logical thinking brain, which is the left side of our mind, which again controls our logical thinking. Our ego side, as we call it, the left side of our brain, left side of our hemisphere of our body, basically represents our shadow side, our fire side, and the side to us that basically also holds space for our shadows, for our healings, for our traumas, for our inner child, and for all of the programming that has gone within. So as they were showing me this dream, they first showed me in a bus, which means, I was basically joined with the collective timelines, and they were sharing something in connection to the collective timelines. And in the dream, my ego side was sitting upright, strong, confident, fully founded in whatever was going on in the circumstances that we were in. And there were a lot of people sitting in the bus, and the right side of the body, which is basically the right, symbolically the right side that they were showing me, had kind of just tilted towards the rest of the people that were sitting in front. And she was just almost like she was sitting on the seat with everybody, but she's also like laying down, not sitting upright, as if she had completely sunk herself into the collective. And so the left side of my body, which is the ego side, then reaches out to the right side and pulls her up and makes her sit upright right next to it and says, sit straight, fully founded in your strength and balanced in your foundation. And so that was a beautiful message that I received, because I'll just take the dream bit by bit. So, I can just help, put a perspective of what it really means. So a lot of times, because we, especially if you're empaths and you're compassionate people, compassionate beings, very empathetic towards people, towards environment, towards everything that is around you, what happens is typically if that aspect of us is not balanced, we tend to give a lot. So much so that we sometimes immerse ourselves in the traumas and situations and circumstances that everyone else is going into that we are feeling empathetic towards. And of course, at the back of the mind, and depending on the journey that you're on and the mission that you're on, if you're meant to heal that within them or help them to heal, you're supposed to hold space for them. But what they were showing me was that if the light side gets imbalanced in so much so that it gets completely immersed in the traumas of whoever they're trying to help, it could make them imbalanced in not being able to hold space with the strength and the courage, the divinity, and all the other elements that are needed for healing that particular time and space, as well as the people that are connected. So that was really beautiful, because the ego mind saw that, and the ego mind, the fire side, was like, no, it's beautiful that you give away and you're compassionate, but you need to balance yourself and be founded in the elements and in your strength. And then from there, you'll be in a better space to still feel the compassion that you feel for them, and yet be able to hold enough strength and space for them. So that was a beautiful message that the ego mind gave to the light side, and the light side completely took it. And she sat up straight, and the two of them literally had their arms, connected with each other, joined. And then next they show the same, light side and ego side walking together, and they're at this almost like a market scenario, and there are food stalls. And now the ego side gets tempted to eat something that it's really very fond of, but it's not the healthiest option. It's not really bad. It's not like alcohol or drugs, but it's just like a snack that it likes to, sometimes have. And so, it wants to reach out, but the light side stops it and says, hey, hang on, let me taste it and see if it's healthy for us. And then she picks up and she has a bite, and she says it's okay, but she just signals the ego mind to not go for it and to not eat that snack. And the ego mind completely surrenders and listens to the light side and doesn't eat that snack. So basically, when we look at anything that's edible, anything that we are about to eat or consume, it could represent a lot. It could represent actual physical nourishment that you're looking for. So, your body's actually in the need for, plants, fruits, and really good food to eat, but you're getting tempted to eat, could be processed food, could be, stuff that you've actually given up in your life. And the light side is not telling you, hey, that's not the kind of food that we want to eat, and I would like you to consume something more healthy, so let's stay away from it. And the ego mind listen. On the other side, food can also represent a nourishment in terms of teachings. It could represent experiences that the ego mind wants to go in for. It could also represent unfinished lessons. So again, this is a food item that this body had left and given up. And now suddenly the ego mind wants to go back and try a little bit of it again, just, for old time's sake. It could also represent a loophole or a pattern that's about to repeat, that this soul is done healing. So the light side is reminding the ego mind, I've tasted it, we've already done this, we're over this, let's move on, don't have this. And the ego mind listened. And so they did not have to go through that loophole, that pattern, or, go for that nourishment that the ego mind thought it needed, but really it didn't. The light, guided the way, and the ego mind listened. And then the third part of the dream was they were still there. So, the stall with the food and everything is still there. And the light side has the road to its side. And the ego mind is still like looking around to see what's going on and looking at everything that's being sold in the market. So it's curious, the ego mind is curious to see what else is out there that I can try and experience. But the light side had its eyes. So as I told you, they were showing in two different bodies, because they were trying to give a perspective of what it really looks like as two split souls, but of course they're together within us, right? And so the light side's eyes were completely on the road, because it was waiting for a bus that was coming down that road that this body, mind, and soul, this particular being, had to get onto. Okay, so again, the road, the street that you're on could represent your path, and the bus could represent a timeline. So the timeline can be individual, or it could be a collective timeline. So sometimes when they want to show us that we are on the collective timeline, or that we're working with the collective on a particular timeline, they would show us in a bus or a train. Okay, so the light side is waiting for the bus, and the light side's eyes are completely focused on the street, on the road that the bus is coming from, and it's waiting for the bus So as soon as it comes, they get on and they get move forward with their life. The ego mind was still like looking around to see if there are more experiences to see. So that's something that the ego does all the time. And that's what this is all about, this life where we're always trying to balance that within ourselves. You know, the shadow self is always showing us things that we need to experience, or pain or trauma, just repeating it again and again. And the light side is meant to um, help us heal, you know, show the way, basically. And the ego mind, of course, along the way also guides us. And so, yeah, that was a beautiful example of how the ego mind and the light side can work, um, you know, when they're in sync with each other, how that really feels to be, and how this soul was then moving on the right timeline, on a timeline that's conducive to their path in moving forward. Okay. The other way to really approach this, and you know, other answers or examples that come out of this, is also about healings. Because you know, a little bit about myself, I practice past life regressions, as well as angelic reikis. I do spiritual mentoring and Akashic records reading as well. And so in my journey, I've met a lot of clients that have done beautiful, powerful healings. And a lot of times when people are new to spiritual energetic healings, um, everyone comes in with expectations. So a lot of times they want to know, hey, when is this going to be healed? So here's what actually happens. Imagine how old your soul is and how long your soul has been here on earth. And not just on earth, we're healing multidimensionally, right? So we're healing at a quantum level. We are healing at a multidimensional level from when your soul was actually first created in this universe. Anything and everything that the soul has gone through, it doesn't matter if it's on earth or another planet, another dimension, you can heal it from right here. So when you're doing that healing, imagine how much your soul has picked up along the way in terms of experiences, traumas, pains, abuses, AI attachments, entities, you know, timeline disruptions, curses, black magic, whatever have you. There's just so much going on out there in the collective. And all of that that needs to be healed is something that our soul has been carrying along the way. And now when you start your journey to heal yourself, we have to remember that we need to be patient in this journey, because just like all of that did not attach to you overnight, it took all of those years, thousands, millions of years. You know, healing will also occur. It's not going to take millions of years, but not always instantly as well. There are some things that instantly leave and instantly get healed as soon as you have a session. But there are a lot of things that need deeper looking into and deeper work, not just from the practitioner's side. It's actually more from the person that's getting healed. So it's a kind of homework that everybody has to do. And it's something I've had to do personally as well. As a, you know, I became a healer later, but I am a human as well, going through this experience from wherever I've come. And I've also had pains, emotions, and, you know, things that I needed to heal and balance within myself, just like the example that they showed about how the light side sometimes is too compassionate and gives a lot and needs to balance itself. So that was one of the lessons that I had to learn, and plenty of others. Similarly, when you're going into a healing process, just remember that there's going to be a ton of shadow work that you will have to do, that everyone has to do, to really heal themselves from within. So you can do sessions, and through the sessions you can have takeaways, and of course a lot gets removed completely from your timelines, from your soul, as you're healing through the sessions as well. And then you have some points that you need to take home with you and say, hey, I'm going to work on this fear aspect, which I believe they've taken out the entities that were attached to this fear, but there is this memory that keeps coming back. So let me go back and look deeper and see why and where this memory is submerged or hidden. And then you go ahead and you searching and see where it is stuck. You work in DreamTime. You can take help from healers as well. You know, they can help you, but eventually it is your own journey that you have to take in healing yourself. And that is the empowerment there, right? Because healings are not all about bells and whistles, love and light. Healings are messy. Okay, they're not easy. They're not always easy. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they're cute, they're funny, and you know, you laugh it off and it goes off. But at times, the deeper ones, the truly, truly deeper ones that have affected you at a very deep and traumatic level, they do take time to heal, and you can still smile your way through it, but it does get messy. We need to remember to have hope, have faith, and keep working with the ego mind, the shadow side, as well as the light side, and calling on them, each side, in a balanced way. And remembering always to clear yourself of entities, because, and as some people like to call them demons, entities that we have within ourselves. Sometimes they're just symbolic of thought forms that are limiting and that are stopping us from healing ourselves. Sometimes they could just be fear that we're carrying, or impressions from other people, energies, programming that we've had from our childhood that stops us or stalls us on the way to healing, and can actually come in the way of actual, genuine, organic, fluid flow of healings. So just remember that, because you do need to go through this whole process of rebirth and transformation after you let go of everything that attached to you at different levels. And as you're healing, of course, as we've spoken before, you can do multidimensional healings and also heal your ancestral lines, which I've personally, as well as so many of my clients have shared with me, they've had experiences of how their ancestors were healed as well, multidimensionally, and how they received tangible evidence to the healing. And so that's what it is. Remember to keep the ego side balanced, in check, as well as also listen into the ego side and see where the shadows are coming from and what the ego is pointing at the same time. Grow and work on the strength of your light side by really founding yourself and grounding yourself into your reality, into the truth, and that you are a truth seeker. Because once you put out that into the universe, that intention that you are here to seek the truth about your soul, and that the universe may now align you with people, time, spaces, memories that are meant to come through to help you heal and seek that truth, so that you could truly be free and sovereign. And then allow for those energies, those people, time, and space to open up and show you what needs to be done and lead the path. Again, the journey will always be yours, because you are the one that is most empowered to heal yourself. You have the key. You are the key. And everything that you need to heal yourself is available in your soul as sacred symbols, as sacred DNA codes. You just need to unlock them. Okay. So I was wondering when I was going to talk about this. I may have, procrastinated it a little bit, because I was just taking so much time to myself, really enjoying myself, doing the work, what I came here to do. And then suddenly yesterday I got called to talk about this. And honestly, I've not been following for the past 1 month. I've been busy with summer holidays with the kids and everything, not been following what's happening in the cosmos. I just realized that yesterday was a black moon, graced by beautiful meteor showers. And I just felt everything was aligned to talk about this, because that's exactly what this is about. The ego mind represented by the moon, which was a new moon, which usually we see a sliver of a new moon, but this time it was the black moon, completely hidden. Okay, so there was so much that was hidden, which is now coming to light, because the meteor showers were actually also representing the light side, throwing the light in, saying, hey, here we go, here's a light, take a look at what's hidden beneath and start healing it. This black moon energy was extremely powerful, to the extent that I would say, as my guide Divine Mother was saying, this black moon was the energy of 0 point healing, 0 point existence. So what that really means is that we actually dipped into the energy of completely transmuting, releasing, and letting go of anything that is not serving a higher purpose, and coming into transformational energies through the meteor showers, where we were literally rebirthing ourselves and rebirthing new timelines, at the moment, individually as well as a collective. So if you feel that you missed on working on this, but if you feel still aligned to this purpose, we haven't really lost the energies, they're still here. Go ahead and work on it, and call on your beautiful divine guides, Divine Mother, Divine Father, whoever you work with, and they will show you the way, and ask the beautiful celestial beings, the cosmos, to help you as well in really letting go. Because it's only when we let go of the non-serving elements that are attached to us, that we can create space for whatever new needs to come into our life, whatever is more conducive to our organic path that is unfolding ahead. So go ahead and start manifesting and working on yourself. Happy healing to all of you. Lots of love always to your beautiful families. If you want to know more about me, you can find me on my website, angelicalchemyholistichealing.com. And I go by the same name on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you. I love you all.